Welcome to an instant reaction edition of Andy Ari On3 presented by BetMGM and Modelo. Probably the greatest thing about, well, one of the greatest things about the MGM Grand here in Detroit, the sports book, Modelo in bottles and on tap.
Yeah, it's a perfect encapsulation of Americana in here.
And you're just, you're rocking with your BetMGM app, just watching all the games and unbelievable.
You know how I feel about it. I can't wait to watch the Iron Bowl in here tonight, Andy, but we got some stuff to get into
We
first.
do have some stuff to get into because there was a lot of danger for one particular assumed playoff team. Oklahoma was in deep, deep trouble before Isaiah Satania popped wide open there at the end, and then Oklahoma's defense held on a fourth down where I don't know what LSU was doing on that fourth down play.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. Let's just start with the LSU part of it. That's a perfect encapsulation of a season that you can't wait to forget, probably.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're playing in a situation where you have a top 10 team on the ropes, on the road, and like coverage bust. I don't think I would have scored on that play. So, that helped save Oklahoma's season. And honestly, I think made the lives of the college football playoff committee a lot more complicated, because if you would have taken Oklahoma's spots back as an open spot in the top 12, that might have cleared up a debate or two.
Yeah, because Vandy beat Tennessee, so that adds another layer to the discussion. That's a 10-2 team, but that's a 10-2 team with a head-to-head loss to a 9-3 Texas.
Yep. Confusing.
We'll see what happens to Alabama, but if Alabama were to lose to Auburn tonight, that would be another 9-3 team with a head-to-head loss. Vandy would have the head-to-head loss to them.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that you could say, and I'll just say confusing after it, because that is confusing. We were running through scenarios on the car ride back from Ann Arbor to Detroit, and we're asking each other, well, who would you choose?
Yeah.
What would you do? How do you feel about that? And it really is an interesting situation, because last year I made this prediction in the middle of the year about how there's going to be too many teams for too fewer spots. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
At the end of last year, there were 3 lost teams that were saying they deserved it, but it was pretty cut and dried last year. This year, I think we're going to get into a situation where you have 10 spots that aren't spoken for from a Big 12 champion or the G5 champion that are going to be up for grabs, and you might have 14 teams that feel entitled to go this year.
Well, you mean the ACC champion?
Yeah,
the potential Big 12 champion is way up there in the rankings.
Yeah.
So now BYU is a different story. We'll see what happens with them, but they beat UCF today, so they are looking at a situation where they're going to play Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship game. That game is not very competitive the first time, but if BYU wins, I think both Big 12 teams get in. If Texas Tech wins, I think it's probably just Texas Tech.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I don't know if that's a fact, but I think I agree with it.
So let me throw another one at you. We think that Alabama and Tennessee, even with 3 losses, even at 9-3, get in over Vandy at 10-2. Do we?
Alabama, I believe. You mean Texas, not Vandy.
I'm Texas. Yes, I'm sorry.
I believe Vandy is out.
Right
now. They needed Oklahoma to lose bad.
Right. And Oklahoma's in, but that also helps Texas's resume because Texas now has 2 wins against playoff teams. Who else has 2 wins against playoff teams?
We have to go down the list.
Ohio State
does not. No.
Yeah. Indiana has 1. Oregon.
Yep. No. So Indiana doesn't. Let's go down the list.
Texas Tech does not, that we know of. Texas A&M does not. Notre Dame,
they have 1.
They have if Notre Dame's in, they have that one.
Yeah.
So Georgia has Texas and has Ole Miss, so they definitely have 1 with Ole Miss. We don't know if Texas winds up in there.
Yep. Texas Tech does not. Oregon does not. Ole Miss does not. Oklahoma
has Alabama.
But I think that might be it for playoff teams, right?
That's it.
That's it. So no. Internet's kind of failing me here. So once this thing loads, okay.
Yeah, we got the rankings on
Notre
screen
Dame
here.
most certainly doesn't. Alabama does, right?
Yeah, Alabama has a win against Georgia. Also has a win against Vanderbilt, which we don't know whether that's a playoff team or not, but they're a 10-win team. Miami's a 10-win team. Utah's a 10-win team. BYU's an 11-win team.
Yeah, the only team that has multiple wins right now that I'm seeing over teams currently in the field or who will make the field is Texas.
Yes. And the 2 teams that Texas beat are pretty comfortably in because Oklahoma was 8. Oklahoma's not falling out in favor of anybody else.
Right. So, I think it's going to be a very compelling thing. And I think there's a line here, Andy, and I said this to you in the car, but contrived debates that we have on the show, that we have with other people on Twitter, that people are having amongst themselves on Twitter are fun to have, but we have to draw the line between what we think is a debate and what the committee will find is a debate.
Right.
Like, I don't know how realistic it is that Texas gets back into this thing. I think that their resume deserves a discussion, but will the committee have it? I think those are two different things.
I think that's a good point, because I also think this committee has acted differently from previous committees. And so we're trying to apply logic based on what other committees in other years did, because they did sort of act consistently. This one has not acted consistently compared to them.
Yeah. And there are certain things that I think are messed up about this. I'm sure there's certain things that you think are messed up about it. And like what the committee actually fixates on, I feel like is more unpredictable in this year's cycle than it has been in years past.
Yeah.
It's been easier to clear up because back in the day when it was only 4 teams, everybody with 2 losses was just out. It was a smaller pool of teams you were choosing from. And if you're going to, include a 3-loss team in there potentially, that opens up Pandora's box for a lot of different teams. And I'm sure that there are Vanderbilt fans who are watching the video right now who are like, why the hell would Ari say that we're out? I mean, I guess I can't definitively say that because you're a 10-win team in the SEC. But
I think the question is who you're in over. Like,
right.
Who's out? Who's losing that you get in over?
Right.
Because if Alabama loses, that's pretty much the only team left to potentially lose tonight. You're not getting in over them. You lost to them.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing.
I mean, I don't know.
We've had this discussion.
Head-to-head maybe doesn't matter in some cases. But
like, Miami has been directly compared to Notre Dame by me over and over again. But why don't we compare Miami to Vandy? Why don't we compare Miami to
the committee's going to do that?
And I wonder where the committee's going to land. Like, because Miami beat the crap out of Pittsburgh on Saturday. And I wonder if Miami is going to creep back into this thing. In a way, I'm not
keep saying it.
I'm not saying it over Notre Dame. I'm saying if you're going to sit here and have a conversation about Vanderbilt,
so you're going to put them in over Alabama? Because
I don't know.
That's
why I'm explaining why I just think Vanderbilt's out, because I don't think you can put them in over
right.
Miami.
I just don't see there's a spot for them. And the thing everybody's got to fear right now is BYU winning the Big 12 championship. Like, they do not want that, because that does guarantee them a spot, and then it would probably mean Texas Tech takes that other spot.
When you say that Texas Tech takes the other spot in the loss, I think that you're right. What percentage confidence would you ascribe to that?
72.
That's a pretty good number.
Not all the way.
I was going to say 69.
Nice. Yeah. 67.
I just I feel like it's hard for me to wrap my brain around 2 Big 12 teams. And I don't know if that's just my lack of belief or if that's the way the committee views it.
Did you have a hard time wrapping your brain around 2 ACC teams last year? It happened.
Yeah, not to the same extent. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the ACC, there's another very interesting subplot going on here. Duke beat Wake Forest. So, big win for the Blue Devils. They are very much still alive for the ACC title game. So, currently you have Virginia Tech playing Virginia in Charlottesville. Mind you, I believe Virginia Tech has won 19 of the last 20 meetings between these two teams.
Yeah.
A Virginia Tech win or a Cal win against SMU, either one will put Duke in the ACC championship game with, count them, 5 losses.
That's wild.
5.
Wild times. And like one of those things might happen, because that's like we're going into the Iron Bowl right now. Does it start in 5 minutes? Starts in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Andy, there hasn't been a shocking result yet, unless you count.
Oh, actually, I don't know about Duke. So we're into the Sports Source rating score. So this would be if I'm trying to figure out what the situation is. If Virginia Tech wins, if they beat Virginia, but SMU beats Cal, then you get in a situation with the Sports Source rating score. So that could be somebody else. If Cal beats SMU. And you could have a Duke-Miami title game if Cal beats SMU and Virginia Tech beats Virginia. If Cal beats SMU and Virginia beats Virginia Tech, then you have a Virginia-Duke title game, Duke above Miami because of a higher conference opponent win percentage. If you have the other way around, I don't know if Miami or Duke gets in because it would be the Sports Source rating score.
Does Jim Phillips just step in and go, we can't have this?
No.
We can't have Duke in here? Like, I don't know. Remember when they changed the rules in the middle of COVID?
I do remember that.
Yeah, they should do that this year with the ACC if Duke gets in.
The
commissioner's job is to protect the brand and the image of its conference.
Right. Oh, YJP in here in chat. This is true. They also need an NC State win for conference opponent win percentage. So that would be NC State against North Carolina. So if you didn't think Bill Belichick's Tar Heels, if you think their game would matter,
well, just so you know, Andy, as we're going down this absurd, Virginia just scored.
All right.
And I believe that was their first possession.
Well, that's good for them. So if Virginia wins, so now I'm doing all the that actually is the easier one if Virginia wins. If Virginia loses, then it becomes more difficult.
Yeah. Pretty batshit crazy conference. I'm excited to see how this plays out tonight, and we can try to really break that down.
Well, like if I'm James Madison, my only hope is Duke wins the ACC, and they are ranked lower than me in the final ranking.
Yeah. Andy, we're here right now. Iron Bowl starts in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't talked about at all today.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's Lane Kiffin doing right now?
I saw Marty Smith just do a stand-up on ESPN saying a decision is imminent. So does that mean in the next few minutes? Or does that mean he's want to watch the Iron Bowl with the rest of us?
Yeah.
Okay. Bonus Lane Kiffin segment. Does it matter if Alabama wins or loses the Iron Bowl for Lane Kiffin? Like, if you're Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD, and you've told him he's not going to coach the playoff, you're not going to let him coach the SEC championship game either, are you?
I guess not. I hate it, but I would. You know how I stand on it.
Why you're like Herb Street? Why are you caping for the guy who's trying to leave?
I just think that it's childish to not keep him on there.
It's not childish. He's leaving you.
I know.
He's spurning you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like
he's walking out for another woman. Like if you're
all right, no, I wouldn't go down that analogy. He's going to find you in the tunnel at the next one game.
No, I'm not saying that. But okay, if your wife told you, Ari, I'm leaving you for this other man, but I can hang in the house for the next like month and a half, right? That's cool.
You think that's the same thing?
We're going to be in bed together, me and him.
Yeah. Wait, no, yeah,
cool
I see him during the day, and then I come home and be in bed with you.
Well, no, I mean, he might come down in his underwear. Like, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, in that scenario.
You're sure you're okay with that?
Yeah. I guess I would maybe, if you could make the case that it was better for my daughter, I might consider it, you know? Yeah. Maybe you can make the case that it's better for the kids on the team. Like, I don't know. I think that if you feel like you have a 10% better chance of winning the national title with him on the sidelines, and that might not even be the ratio.
I don't know how good of a chance you have because I think that having the LSU coach in your building would be a distraction.
Yeah. I'm not in the building. I don't know. All I'm saying, here's my premise. Mm-hmm. If it is actually a 10 to 15% boost to your team, and that might not be the reality of it, but if it is, I would sacrifice everybody leaving or whatever would happen in the next few months from a recruiting standpoint in order to give my team the best chance to win right now.
So Marty in the chat asked an interesting question. I'm sure you guys have talked about it. We actually haven't, but is Notre Dame screwed or do we think they have a shot? Notre Dame is currently number 9 in the rankings. I see no reason for them to get moved. Now they play a game still. They're going to play Stanford. I don't think they're going to lose that game, but we'll all be up late tonight watching it.
Is Notre Dame screwed? They're doing the screwing.
They're fine.
Right now. Yeah,
they're fine. I think the committee, as long as you're in the top 10, you're going to get an at-large bid. So I think Notre Dame's okay there.
Yeah, I think the question is there any team behind it that can hop over it? And based on the behavior that we saw on Tuesday, it looks like no. Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to hop Alabama first, which I guess if Alabama lost, then they would already replace them, or I don't know. We'll find out.
I think if Alabama wins tonight, well, maybe it won't because they're playing Auburn. I don't know, but I'm surprised. The one thing that Notre Dame
we talked about in the car, by the way, that I had not thought about, like Alabama, we talk about having a bad loss to Florida State. Auburn would also be a really bad loss.
Yeah, and I don't know if the committee gives you a mulligan for
haunting
buildings or rivalry games. But Andy, the one thing that Notre Dame fans have conceded is that it is bizarre that they're currently ranked ahead of Alabama. Like, they don't want to have the Miami conversation, but the Alabama one is weird. If Alabama wins tonight and clinches a trip to the SEC championship with the wins that they have, I wonder if there's any movement there.
Do you think the committee members are just like, oh, well, Alabama's going to play in the SEC championship game.
We'll
just adjust it after that. It's no problem.
I don't think that they should ever do that. I hope they don't do that. I think they should rank them based on who they think is the best right now using the criteria that is outlined.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I mean, it will work out. I hope they don't put the rankings together with that in mind.
Guys, the Iron Bowl is kicking off right now. Let's all watch the Iron Bowl. If Lane Kiffin makes a decision, we'll be back on. We'll pop right back on. We'll talk about it all.
We'll be monitoring
staying, going, you name it. I can't imagine him staying at this point, but again, it's Lane Kiffin.
What do you
He's
think
a wild
he's been
card.
doing for the last 3 hours? I'm sorry. He's been meeting with
game planning for Georgia, apparently, in case they make the SEC title game.
We'll be talking about this at some point tonight, I think. So stick with us.
We will see. Decision reportedly imminent, but I'll believe it when I see it. Talk to you soon.